and I'm sure we're all having a wonderful time in the year that we're in with COVID and everything like that. This is a video that's meant to give you instructions as instructors on how to do the SLOAC assessment that we're doing for WAC 101 and English 101 this year, 2020 to 2021, both fall and spring semester. So this year we are assessing the CT3A outcome. It is connected to synthesis. We're specifically focusing on the part that says students can assemble parts or components to create a whole. And so with this year's assessment, we're making that shift. And we do have a different rubric than we had in the spring, so make sure you are using the right one, the one added in the email connected to this. If you have any questions, send me an email, gregory.fields@cgc.edu. Fun stuff. So with that, so the rubric's there. You should have a link to it. It's going to be a couple different places. But this video is really more about helping you figure out how to get the assessment into your course. And so let me show you how to do that and what the process for the assessment is going to be. So first, if I can click on the right tab out of 12, which these things happen, the first place you want to go to get the assessment is you want to go to Canvas. You want to log into Canvas with your teacher ID, all that fun stuff, MEID, and you want to go to the section that says Shared Content. Now, you'll click that and it will come up with this Received Content page. Now, unfortunately, I can't share with myself, so let me borrow from the Canvas course things online, and that's not it, to help make this process a little clearer. I told you guys this was going to be a challenge. There it is. Okay, so once you are in that received content section, so you went to your login screen, you went to your account, you went to the shared content, and when you click on shared content, a screen comes up that says received content at the top. And in it, you need to go find the item shared by me, and it'll say academic year 2021, WAC 101, English 101 assessment. Right? Makes sense. Pretty straightforward. Then you'll go to the three-dot menu on the side and click Import. When you go to Import, it'll ask you what class, and then you'll type in the class. So you'll start typing. If you have the section ID, that's probably easiest. Play with this a little bit. I haven't been able to get into that side of it and mess with this as much. So if you have issues, again, send me an email or message the CTLA, but it really shouldn't be too terrible. And I'm probably going to regret saying that. And you can yell at me. It's fine. I understand. These things happen. But I am trying to make it as smooth and easy as possible. So you're going to search for the course you want to add it to. And section number, I'm thinking, is going to be the best way to do that. And once you get there, you can choose to drop it into a specific module. I don't recommend you do that for this particular content. It's just there's an option. So don't get confused by those other two optional things. Just get it to the course and drop it in there. And then click Import, and then when you're all done, you can just leave it like that. I wouldn't recommend deleting it because though you could remove that content, you will want to do it again in the spring. And we are asking that you do this for, if you're teaching WAC 101, one section of WAC 101. If you're teaching English 101, one section of English 101. If you're teaching both, one section of each. So that is what we're getting from SLOAC for 2020 and 2021 this academic year. So one section of each course that you teach of WAC 101 or English 101. So this process is how you get the assessment that we've created in the Canvas assessment shell into your course. So the next step is what does it look like? What do you actually do? And so that would be this screen, which looks funny because of how I've got the video set up. But this is what you are actually loading in. It's a single assignment. It has the rubric embedded here. It has the instructions for you, the faculty, that came in the email if you need to review them and go back over what your job is or what your responsibility is in all of this. And we're so excited to have all of you doing this assessment, and the college loves it, and it's good stuff. The HLC doesn't mind either, but that's another thing. So you can, I have the rubric embedded here. We have the rubric embedded here that you saw. You can also even if you jumped right into SpeedGrader and started trying to use this, you could follow the link to open the rubric in a new tab. And so it's all set up. All you do is click, you ignore the first line, and you just click 1 through 4. It's that straightforward. So that should feel like the same process as last year. Again, I encourage you need to go in and take a look at the rubric and examine it, see what the different levels are before you get started. And I recommend printing this out. It also is probably the easiest way to do this is to have the assignment that you want to assess open in your main screen, kind of like I have here. You would have your main assignment here, and then you'd have the actual SpeedGrader with this outcome rubric in another tab, basically where my face is. And so that's probably the easiest way to set this up at this point. That's how I'm going to be doing it, just because it makes sense to me. If you have a double screen, even better. So if you've got 2 monitors, that's amazing, and it should be fairly straightforward. Again, I'm going to regret saying these things. I'm trying to be encouraging. So that is how you import the assessment. That is where you find the assessment, how you complete the assessment. There's one last step that faculty need to do, and you'll see this in the instructions. One last thing I want that the division wants you to do with these assessments is, when it's all said and done, we would like you to write or create a short reflection. This is a 1/2 to 1 page. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like a 10-minute free write would be fine, or a 5-minute free write, or whatever you want, whatever along those lines. So a 1/2 to 1 minute page, 1/2 to 1 page short reflection, answering the 3 questions we have here, or a 2 to 3 minute audio or video clip of you answering those questions. When you're all done, you're going to upload that reflection to this Google Drive folder. That should be just drop the file in, and then you're done. You can celebrate with the hot or cold beverage of your choice. So those are the basic logistics sequence of this process. As for some general tips, students don't actually have to see any of this. I know in the past, some people had students may have had some students submit their assignments twice. It's not really necessary. You can just bring up the one submission they know about, and then bring this up separately. This assessment isn't meant to be built into their grade, because it's something you do as part of your grading of their assignments. You'll do your normal grading, and then you'll run through this specific outcome separately. So students don't need to know anything about this at all. You don't, so it's probably easier. You can keep it unpublished till the very end if you like, or you can just kind of have it there and change the title of it and say ignore. Either way, because of how the rubric's built and how the outcome is built, it should all just get pushed to SLOAC, and we're all good. So those are some general tips. Another thing about doing the assessment, or kind of a final tip about doing the assessment, you don't have to change anything about the way you're teaching to try and teach to this outcome. The idea of these Gen Ed outcomes are that it's stuff that we want to see where students are under normal circumstances, or COVID normal in this instance. So you don't have to change your teaching. If, as you start looking over the materials, you're like, oh, those are kind of important things, and I usually put them here, and it actually makes a lot of sense to do it some other way. Any assessment process is naturally going to get a teacher thinking about how they do things, and that's fine. But don't feel like you have to change things to fit this outcome. That's not the point of it. With that, hopefully that's been clear. Again, it's kind of a 3-step process. 1, get the shared content from Canvas. 2, at the end of the semester, before December 16th, or I think I have May 12th for the spring, at the end of the semester, choose an assignment for one section of WAC 101 and or one section of English 101. If you're teaching both, there should be 2. And that's for each semester. And complete the assessment. When you're done with all of your assessments, if you've got multiple sections you have to do, then do one reflection just as your own teacher reflection and submit it. And we'll do that each semester. If you have any questions, feel free to email me again at gregory.fields@cgc.edu, or contact your lead faculty. Have fun and enjoy the rest of the semester.